everybody, it's me. It's been probably way too long since I've done this, so bear with me. I've been making these cards lately with these awesome watercolor, water-washed, color-washed backgrounds, and I've had a few people ask me how I get the effect I get. So I wanted to just do a quick tutorial to show you what I use and how I use it. Most important is you're really going to want a good smooth watercolor cardstock. I don't know the brand I have. I wish I did. It was given to me, but it's very smooth. I don't know if you can see, it doesn't have the texture that some watercolor paper has. It's very smooth, so it doesn't suck up the moisture. It lets it bead up on the surface and roll around, which is what we want. So these are just my examples. Today what I'm going to be using is going to be my line of Dylusions ink sprays, which I love, by Diane Reevely. I'm not really sure if I'm saying that right. And then I have the Liquid Metals by Ken Oliver Crafts. And then I do have one Tattered Angels Glimmer Mist that I really like. Not really sure what color it actually is. Party Pink. I think I've used it on here before. Anyway, let's get started. Oh, the other thing you're going to want is to make sure you really protect your surface, because it goes everywhere when you start spraying. So I have an old sheet as well as one of these craft mats down, because this repels the water, and this is what we're going to use. Is we want a surface that the inks and waters will bead up on, and then just a plain Jane spray water bottle. It doesn't have to be fancy. My original one was an old hairspray bottle, so it's totally fine. All right, let's get started. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the colors that I typically use the most, because that's just who I am. I do like to use the White Linen Dylusions ink spray. It kind of creates different effects and kind of almost gives it a milky look sometimes, so I like to use that. So what you want to do is just take your sprays and just spray directly onto your mat. Doesn't really matter, no rhyme or reason. And it doesn't have to be a big area, because once you start spraying with water, it actually gets a lot larger. The key when you're spraying your water is you want it to bead up large. You don't want little tiny beads, you want big beads. So you spray until you get the big beads you want. And my water is leaking, so I'm going to use this one really quick, because I know this guy works. But as you can see, the surface area seems to spread out and the beads get larger, and you can keep going out almost infinitely, it seems like. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my super smooth watercolor paper, cardstock, and I'm going to just lay this directly on. Barely touch it to make sure you've got the entire surface. And when you pull it up, I should have done it the other way. This is the effect you get. And one of my favorite things is I love that sometimes, if you're lucky, all these little dots stay in place. Something else that I do is I take my paper towel and I just lay the edge right on it like that, because I don't like all the colors to get muddy. So then what I'll do is I'll take my heat gun and dry it really well. And that is a background that I can use now for a card or anything else. And I still have plenty of ink left on my mat, and if you want to reactivate and kind of move the colors around, just spray it a little bit more, but you don't have to. And I want more turquoise this time, I think, so I'm going to go down here, pull it up so you can kind of see, and then sometimes just let it run. I don't like that hard line on the bottom, so again, I'm going to put my paper towel up under here like that. But this one will be nice because it has a little bit of, I want to say skin break, but it's not a tattoo. It's more like just some relief here, so you would be able to write or ink on here with stamps or whatever. It's pretty great. Uh-oh, moved my rig. This is my first time with my little tripod, guys. Sorry. All right. So then what I typically do is I just take my entire roll of paper towels and I just wipe it up. And it's always fun to see what my paper towels look like at the end of a long crafting run. But we're going to do the same thing with the liquid metals here. think I'm missing one. Let's do this yellow gold. I'm just going to drop it all over. And these are going to give a little bit of a different effect because it's not a fine mist. It's a dropper. It's kind of like a, almost like an eyedropper, actually. You can literally count your drops here. So, and then I'm going to do, I wish I knew where that other color went. Here we go. I might do the pewter. So we'll do the pewter in there too. And get my water. Spray it down really well, and you see it's not gonna beat up the same way because again you don't have the same fine mist. So in this regard, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of move it around, and then when I pick it up, it's almost like it's been marbleized. It's pretty fun. Almost looks tie-dye. Sometimes what I will do if I'm not completely satisfied is I'll take my cardstock and just run it like this. And then do that. And it gives it this really cool, I don't know if you remember, I was a child of the 80s and 90s, and we used to get these kits where you could put oil and water and color together, and then you could put it on your shoes or whatever. So I really like these liquid metals. These are from Ken Oliver Crafts, like I said before. He has a whole line of color burst, and he has a whole line of these liquid metals in different hues and different colors. And actually the color burst I think is a powder, so what you would do is you put the powder on directly on the paper and then spray it and it goes out. But that's not what I have here. So all right, I'm going to wipe this up one more time and do one more sample for you before I go. I'm going to do one more like the coffee cards. I got so many compliments on these coffee cards, and I want to tell you that the stamps actually come from Miss Kim Creates. I don't know how well you can see it, but I loved Coffee Break, and I love this little coffee container here, and they stamp so well. Caffeine Junkie. A lot of people liked this one. This is like my favorite color scheme, so I can't blame them for liking that one. These stamps are from Stamp Boutique, and they're all very unique stamps, and I just love them. This one too. This one was also from Stamp Boutique. Love this little feathery owl here. But you can see the beads here on the edges where it doesn't quite smear, and I really do love that. So there's that. All right, we're going to do one more, and I'm going to do it with some reds and yellows, and I think I'm going to use my Tattered Angels as well because I like the way it mixes in. You don't have the harsh red all by itself. I get to mix it up a little bit. And I am going to use this one as well. So, back with our water. Make sure you get your big beads because that's going to give you the best watercolor coverage here, okay? I just love the way that looks. All right, here we go. Just going to place it on here, and I do try to place it to where I'm getting maximum colors, not just one color. I like to mix it up. So, and there you have it. This one is actually very similar color scheme to this one here, which I love. Let it run a little bit. That's what's really great about this, is when you let it run, let it do what it's going to do before you dry it. It gives it a much more organic feel. It's really great. All right, so that's that. Not even really sure what to call this technique. I love it though, and I wanted to share it with everybody. The sprays that I'm using are water soluble. I would assume that you could do this also with any alcohol inks that you may have. It's always worth a shot, and it's something I'll definitely be using, but right now I'm really into the watercolor Dylusions and liquid metals. They're kind of my go-to right now. All right, well, it was great to see you guys again, and I hope you learned a little bit of something. If you have any questions, let me know, and if you want to subscribe, you know what to do. And I will be back very soon in the next week or two with a surprise announcement. that I'm very excited about. And I'll see you then. Bye.